Hello heroes, Kelthar of the Heroes and Legends, and welcome back to my Harbingers lore review and discussion. This one is Harbingers Khadgar. This one was really amazing. Just like the first Harbingers, the art, the music, the sound, the story, all paced and edited together perfectly. You kind of just end up soaking it in, and I sure did. I was fully immersed, kind of like a lore bubble bath. Really kind of washed myself in it. I did watch it another 100 times almost. Probably not really that much, but a lot. I watched it a lot. For this episode, I'm going to switch things up just a little bit. We're not going to do a recap of the story in picture form. We're just going to jump into the lore, talk and discussion. I'll give you guys a moment to catch up on it. Also, if you have not seen my previous episode, I'll have a link to it somewhere near my face here for you to kind of catch yourself up on where we're at. Then we'll go talk about this. So once again, if you have not seen Harbingers Khadgar, please go watch it. I'll wait right here. Okay, cool. We caught up? Awesome. Now, let's get to some lore talk. Khadgar was, before Warlords, just a little bit of a side note to me. Really sorry there, Khadgar fans. I never really took too much stock in his character before then. In Burning Crusade, he was the old wizard in Shattrath. When you first arrive, you're sent to meet up with him and the Naru Adal, and then you're sent on a quest to follow his servant around to get your tour of the city. You eventually came back to him multiple times throughout the expansion, depending on how far you went down different faction storylines. As much as I love his character now, then I barely knew him. Despite his tragic backstory, he was never really on my radar. So the first question we have to ask is, who is Khadgar? Well, he's one of the most powerful mages in the Warcraft universe, an apprentice to the last Guardian Medivh. He has been through some tough times in his life. When he was a young teenage mage, he was sent by the Kirin Tor to apprentice under Medivh in Karazhan. He is the only one the legendary wizard accepts as apprentice, and the two develop a close friendship. During his time there, he starts to sense changes in his master. Something seemed off. This was a sign of growing potential, and probably what made Medivh accept him as an apprentice when he passed on all the others. Using his talents, he discovers a plot to open a portal between Azeroth and Draenor after meeting with the Horde emissary Garona. Armed with this knowledge, they tell King Lane Rin and team up with another legendary hero, Anduin Lothar, and a group of Stormwood soldiers to return to Karazhan and confront Medivh. There they find him, mentally linked to our universe's Gul'dan, and a battle begins. The terrible battle was hard fought, but Khadgar is able to plunge a sword through his master's heart. Lothar finishes this by beheading the Guardian, but not before he casts a spell on Khadgar, aging him into an old, frail man. A young adult trapped in the body of a feeble elder, all he can do is study his former master's spells to find a way to reverse the curse. During this time, Stormwind is raised and Khadgar flees to Lordaeron with Lothar, and the Second War begins. It is then, only a year after the war, the portal reopens and the Alliance leads an expedition into Draenor to combat the looming threat. A disastrous series of battles takes place, revolving around Ner'zhul, opening portals, and Draenor being ripped apart from the magical energy of said portals. To save his home, Khadgar uses Medivh's spellbook and the Skull of Gul'dan to cast a spell that would close the dark portal from the other side. He, along with the rest of the expedition, were long thought to be dead until the Burning Crusade, where we find them on the Shattered World barely holding together. Fast forward to Warlords, where Khadgar seems to have de-aged, or Medivh's spell is wearing off and once again leads an expedition to AU Draenor, hopefully preventing another catastrophe. And we all know how Warlords ends. And now we end up in the present day. So here we are, right here, just before the short, and we see Khadgar as he hurriedly rushes to Karazhan for information. Now I had to ask myself, does this all take place before or after the pre-Legion questline to retrieve info on the Pillars of Creation mentioned by our pal Diamond Magni in Ulduar? I believe that it is before, since when we follow him to Karazhan, in that questline, he seems to be more comfortable in its halls, but in the short, he does not yet seem to know of the pillars, and he looks frantic and has no idea what he's doing. He's just searching for an answer. This also has to be after the Broken Shore, as he is in such a hurry, looking as if tragedy has struck. Chronology aside, Khadgar is in the library when the spirit of Medivh appears before him. The spirit, I believe, is another player in the gigantic playing field, but in Medivh guise. The playing field is a galactic MMO chessboard, but with slightly different rules. Instead of 1v1, it's some v some, or all versus all. And this player is a Dreadlord, a Nathrezim by other names. Very deceptive and manipulative, they use cunning and intelligence to turn their foes on each other, not unlike the deceiver Kil'Jaeden himself. Now the Legion, having many players on their side, use the tactics of Kil'Jaeden to deceive and manipulate their foes. The Dreadlords are masters at such trickery, and they too are trying to put tools onto the board. So who is this Dreadlord? Is it one that we have encountered before? I believe so. Now follow my thinking here. I would wager a guess that this is the Dreadlord Anetheron, the second in command of the Nathrezim, returned from the Twisting Nether after being defeated most recently in Hellfire Citadel, and resurrected and shown to us again at the Battle of the Broken Shore. After the battle, I believe he leaves to pursue his schemes by following Khadgar to Karazhan. It is within the tower Khadgar is shown visions by this Anetheron Medivh and sees things of great importance to him, a play on his innermost desires, the desire to be guardian. Through sheer willpower alone, he shields himself from the temptation he is presented with. Then he fires off a blast of amazing energy. And bam! Anetheron is back in the Twisting Nether again. That guy really can't buy a break. But it's not the end of him, because unless we kill them in the Twisting Nether, they're just going to come right back. Now in my last episode, I theorized that Kil'Jaeden manipulated AU Gul'dan to create a tool. Here I believe we have a similar situation, but this time the manipulator is Anetheron the Dreadlord, who is also working for the Legion, attempting to do the same with Khadgar. But it doesn't work. He is soundly defeated, and Khadgar comes to the realization that we need to unite. He learns how manipulative the Legion will be in their quest, how they have one goal in mind and they are all going about it in similar but separate ways. They are not united, they are a divided army, a divided onslaught, peppering our forces through deceit, trickery, and overwhelming numbers. Khadgar will have to band us together to be the united front and shield that we need to be. He is a player in this game with the right idea in mind, and we need to get our own act together before it's too late. There is another piece to my puzzle, and in the next episode we will talk about the most mysterious player yet. Illidan Stormrage, the wild card, the betrayer, the child of shadow and light. Well, you'll see that in Legion, but that's one of his other titles. Now, hopefully you've enjoyed this Khadgar review of Harbingers Khadgar, plus the lore talk, plus the little ties to my theory. I had a heck of a time talking about it and putting it together, and the next one we'll do the Illidan, and we'll finish it up before jumping off into Legion together. So, any questions or thoughts, concerns? Do you want to poke holes in my theory? Drop it in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.